Hello and welcome to episode 9, Celebrate Small Wins to Move Forward. When someone joins one of my coaching programs or coaching groups, they get access to a GroupMe texting app where they can post their action steps and small wins and get encouraging posts from me, their coach, and from others in the program. We celebrate the small wins and the big wins in this community texting app. As I scroll through here on my phone, I want to share some posts with you. I just watched the module for week 2. Such a good way to think about things. I've got my new action step for the week written down and ready to go. I loved the module. Just listen to it this week. I really love this self-guided approach. Love getting recipes. Lots of motivation, encouraging learning in here. Love that swap diagram. I successfully completed my actions for last week. Great job on your action steps. And we have, smiley emojis and all the stuff going on. There's a lot of celebrating in my community's GroupMe because we celebrate the small wins. Just as simple as someone posting, I completed my action steps for the week. Let's celebrate our wins, people, right? Celebrate. Okay, this week's episode is about the importance of celebrating the small wins. There are certain steps that we can take to make achieving our own health and life goals a little easier. So remember, in this podcast, I'm helping you take simple steps to a healthier, more balanced life, whatever that means to you. Helping you get 1% change from your own baseline, not someone else's. So just 1% each day or each week, not trying to get 100%. Taking simple steps to healthier, more balanced living involves taking the right kind of action, checking your thoughts, and getting the right kind of accountability and support. For the last several episodes, we've been talking about taking the right kind of action that leads to results. If we want to take action long enough to actually see the results from taking this action, then there are 7 things we can do. Today, we're talking about the 7th thing, which is celebrate the small wins along the way. Not merely acknowledge, but celebrate. Big time. Woo-woo! Not waiting until you think the step or the result is big enough to celebrate, but celebrating the smallest step towards that goal or result, right? Not waiting until I cannot celebrate until I lose the 10 pounds. I cannot celebrate until I am going to the gym 3 times a week. I cannot celebrate until, whatever that end result is. We need to celebrate the small steps and not wait because it forces us to kind of get into that pushing myself. That result that you think is worth celebrating, though, may take several weeks or months, right? It's losing that weight, getting that habit of exercising, that habit of meditating, that feeling that you're going to get from having consistent restorative sleep. Whatever that result is that you think is worth celebrating, that you want to get to, it will take several weeks or several months. So you have to celebrate the small steps that will get you there. You can't wait until you get that end result. Then I'm going to celebrate. Celebrate every small step along the way. In my coaching business, I focus on simple steps, and small wins over time. Now, this may not sound like it's going to get you anywhere, but let me tell you, it gets people far. And I love that because it continues to reinforce in my own brain and in my own life that celebrating the small steps over time can lead to big results. Doing simple, small things over time leads to big results. I've seen it in my life and in my clients' lives, but it doesn't happen overnight. These simple, small things add up to big results over time. They add up to transformations in people that look like anything from losing that weight to having more energy, to feeling more relaxed, to getting better sleep, to transforming your relationships. I've seen women have some pretty remarkable transformations, and it all starts with these simple, small steps and celebrating every tiny win along the way. It's that simple. It's not trendy or some new gimmicky thing or some fancy thing on TikTok, right? But celebrating the small steps, doing the small things over time. And you know what? Our brain likes it this way. That is how our brain forms habits. Don't underestimate the power of the small win and its role in keeping you moving forward and in keeping you repeating the action that will lead you to the transformation you want. Celebrating small wins over time. Over time, right? In general, we don't like the over time part because we want our results now. Myself included. It's normal. When a result is really important to us, when it's really important to us to lose weight, to get fit, to sleep better, to feel more relaxed, to have better connections with people, when a result is really important to us, important enough to motivate us to take action in the first place, or to motivate us to seek help in taking action or join a coaching program, then we want that result sooner rather than later, right? We don't consider success anything short of that desired end result we want. And that can really set us up for an uphill battle and starting things and stopping and starting and stopping. It's like in episode 4 when I taught you the importance of starting small so we don't freak out our brain. Seriously, it's a thing when I talk about our brain and all of this. I'm not using all the professional lingo here, but trust me when I tell you this is based in evidence. Even when we start small, it doesn't mean we end small. And the same here. Just because we celebrate a small win doesn't mean this won't lead us to the big win, the big result. As a habit-trained coach, I understand the types of actions and thoughts that more easily lead to habits. The habit of repeating the action that will get you results. That's why I chose the training program that I did, because it was focused on habit formation. Because we can all do an action for a while, but maintaining it long enough to see all those benefits is what's difficult. Listen up. If I am inconsistent in exercising, if I am inconsistent in meal planning, meal prepping, eating energy foods, if I'm inconsistent in meditating, getting quality sleep, if I'm inconsistent in relaxing, doing self-care, it will be more difficult to get the results that I want, to get those results that motivated me enough to want to start doing those actions in the first place. It will take longer. Celebrating small wins helps us to keep the action going. It helps us to be consistent in doing this action. And we want to repeat our action long enough to reap the benefits of that action. I don't want to just exercise twice randomly, like 3 times one week, then 2 weeks I don't do it at all. Then I try to do it 4 times the next week. Now, again, as I've said before, let's take a sidestep here. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about just the default in general that you're consistent. So let's get that clear, because setting ourselves up for that all or nothing, oh my gosh, that's the worst thing we can do. And remember, I've said I was the queen of all or nothing. So we're not talking about random, very inconsistent, but we're also not talking about the other extreme either. So let's step back in. I don't want to just exercise twice, then not again for several months, now and then. I don't want to just relax on the weekend. I want to do it consistently. Wow, that's a thought, right? Especially for a lot of us, like female, type A, whatever. Let me say that again. I don't want to just relax on the weekend, like keep pushing myself Monday through Friday. I want to relax consistently, because if I'm relaxing consistently, that's going to do a lot of wonderful things, like help balance my hormones and help me get more sleep. More on all of that in future episodes. So I don't want to just relax on the weekend. I want to do it consistently. Relax and take care of myself consistently, not just during that annual vacation when I can finally get away and relax completely, or not just when my body breaks down and gets sick and I have to stop and rest and relax, but doing it consistently. Celebrating our small wins keeps us in action. I don't wait and celebrate after I've exercised 3 times per week for a month. No, I celebrate after the first time I exercised that week, and then after the second time I exercised that week, and the next time, and the next time. You get my drift here. What we give our attention to increases. Okay? Repeat that. Seriously, wherever you are, let's say it together. What I give my attention to increases. One more time. You can do it. What I give my attention to increases. Getting a positive spark, that good feeling when we do something we wanted, when we follow through, this helps the habit loops form in our brain. And remember from a previous episode, habits form around pleasure. What we give our attention to increases. We repeat what is pleasurable. It's pleasurable to celebrate our wins, not in a competition way, comparing ourselves to others, like one of my previous accountability examples, but celebrating ourselves. We celebrate all the time, right? And we love that. We celebrate big events. We celebrate weddings, we celebrate graduations, we celebrate big sports wins, we celebrate birthdays. We get pleasure out of it. We anticipate the pleasure that will come with those celebrations. Right now, our youngest is a senior in college and will graduate soon, and I am going to celebrate big time, and I'm anticipating that. But let me tell you, friend, we need to get into that mindset that that small step you took is worthy of celebrating, just like the graduation is. Celebrating that you got up to work out helps your brain want to get up and work out again. You report to your accountability group. If you're in a coaching program with me, you're typing it in our group or writing it down in your notebook or whatever. You're reporting it to me. You're writing it down. You're keeping track. You're celebrating it. Celebrating that you made your healthy lunch for work gives your brain the positive spark it will need to make it easier to repeat making your lunch again tomorrow. Not celebrating until you've made that healthy lunch every day that work week makes it more difficult to keep going on with making that healthy lunch each morning, especially past the first few weeks when it's new and novel, right? Kind of like that New Year's resolution. Starting today, January 1st, or the Monday after the 1st, I'm going to pack my healthy lunch 5 days a week. You might be able to push yourself to do that for a few weeks, but we're talking about lasting change, right? We're talking about making that healthy lunch, taking the time to do it so that you can reap the benefits of what eating that healthy lunch is over time. By not celebrating each time you do it, it makes it seem like it's not so special. And trying to repeat something that's not so special, not so pleasurable, that's just kind of, it starts to seem like a grind or like pushing until you reach that end result, which in this case would be that healthy lunch all 5 days a week. Celebrate every step. Take a picture and celebrate. Here's my healthy lunch for Monday. Woo woo. Celebrate. Here's my healthy lunch for Tuesday. If you don't want to take the time to take a picture and post it, a lot of times my clients will just pop in that texting app and say, did it. That's all you have to do. You're celebrating for you. Did it. Takes 3 seconds to type did it. You're celebrating, or a thumbs up or something. So again, with the lunch example, making the healthy lunch that one day, that one step of that first step of that action that you took is not a habit, right? If you're used to going out to eat every day or eating pizza every day, again, I'm not judging if you're eating pizza. I'm just using as an example if you'd like to start packing something besides pizza every day. Making that healthy lunch that first day is new, right? It's not a habit. There's sometimes little motivation or pleasure around continuing to repeat it, especially if you need to continue to repeat this action for several weeks or several months before it becomes a habit or before you see the results. Remember, we're going to have to repeat these things over time. So making it that one day, there's very little motivation or pleasure, and so you're going to need to repeat this. So by not celebrating the first few times you make the lunch, the first few times you get up and work out, the first few times you stop at lunch and decide to relax and not get through those work emails, not celebrating the first few times can make it seem not that big of a deal or like a chore or like you have to push yourself or it's too much out of the ordinary. And after a week or two of not really celebrating or marking this, or even a month, eventually you start associate making that healthy lunch or doing whatever as not that pleasurable. It wasn't that big of a deal. You weren't forming those habit loops, and you can't sustain it until you see that end result, which is the result that you really want to celebrate. You didn't give yourself a chance to celebrate that small win of making the lunch the first day, the second day, which creates another small win, and then another small win, and you get the idea. That's why in one of our steps several episodes ago, I talked about keeping track. So these 7 things, even though I'm spending a whole episode on each one, really come together in one coaching session or one, action step. But they're all important. Your brain doesn't know if your win is a small win or a big win, right? A win's a win and counts the same, so celebrate it. If you follow sports, this is a big thing, right? I follow sports. I live with all these men. I love it. But when we're following our favorite sports team and it's like, oh my gosh, that was ugly. But hey, a win is a win and it still counts. Your brain doesn't know if it's a small win or a big win. Your brain doesn't know if it's a small win or a big win. It just knows it's a win, and that propels you forward. Celebrating the small steps, the small wins, keeps your brain happy. We want to keep your brain happy. It's pleasurable to celebrate. Habit loops form in the brain more easily when they are associated with pleasure. And if you're waiting until you get that pleasure of losing a few pounds after spending 6 or 12 weeks making that healthy lunch, it's going to be harder. Your brain needs the pleasure and those habit loops to form day one when you make that lunch. Early on in the coaching process, my clients want to focus on the obstacles as soon as we get on our coaching call, if they're in a live coaching call group. They want to just kind of push past celebrating what they did do, like it's not a big deal, not worth acknowledging. They are already wanting to move on to the negative and the lack or the result they don't yet have, right? So I start every coaching call with what's going well. I ask them how they did on their action steps. So we're focusing on the positive. We're focusing on celebrating that. Then we can move into the obstacles and all those other things. But we tend to think, wait a minute, let's not talk about what I did do, that I actually did get up and do this. Let's talk about how I don't have the end result yet. Let's talk about what needs to get fixed. I'm not celebrating until I reach my end goal. Well, lady, you may never have anything to celebrate then. Celebrate that you got up and worked out. Celebrate that you made your lunch that one day. Tell your accountability group. Remember, we need that too. Sharing that win. Celebrate you got up and meditated. Keep track. Write it down. Report it to someone. Remember in a previous episode, I talked about accountability and support, the right kind. That is more than being a cheerleader. Well, I am a cheerleader when it comes to celebrating the win. So when you tell me you took that one step, I celebrate it. We celebrate it. You post it and I like it. I post back, way to go, and some other motivating stuff. And your brain gets that spark when you read it, when you see it. You hold your head up a little higher and you're ready to do it again the next day or the next week and tell me about it again. And post about it again. We don't just use this one step though, right? Remember there are 7 steps. And I'm coaching you through all of these steps so you don't even realize it's all happening together. But celebrate. Celebrate that you walked today. Celebrate that you went to bed early. Celebrate that you skipped a second helping of dessert. Celebrate that you kept a promise to yourself to blank. So recently, I am celebrating that I have been able to walk past Starbucks on my way to my office and not stop and get the sugary drink I crave. I'm celebrating that the drink doesn't control me anymore. Now, I'm not saying I'm never going to stop and get my Starbucks drink, but I don't need it as many times a week as I was getting it. So I'm celebrating when I don't get it. And when I go and I have that herbal tea that actually 20 minutes after I drink it actually makes me feel good instead of 20 minutes after I have my Starbucks drink when I'm not feeling good. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing Starbucks. Any of you that know me know it's one of my favorite places to go and have a nice little drink and work on my business or whatever. But when I'm trying to balance out a little bit more, I got into a habit where I was having that sugary drink more consistently than not. And so now that I'm shifting that, I'm celebrating every time I walk by and don't get it. Celebrate that you took some time to browse the workout videos on YouTube to choose the one that works for you, right? Don't wait until, okay, I found this workout, I got to try to do it. Don't wait and celebrate like I'm not going to really get excited until I've done it for 6 months. Celebrate that you took the time, you took that first step. Celebrate that you ate that apple and carrots. Celebrate that you gave yourself extra time to make that healthy smoothie you like. Celebrate that you relaxed over lunch instead of kept right on working and checking emails. If you want to repeat it, celebrate it. If you want to repeat it, celebrate it. Not just acknowledge it, but celebrate it. Do the happy dance. Tell someone. Once you get your brain used to celebrating these small steps, you will begin to celebrate even more tiny steps in other areas, and it will be easier to repeat the actions you want to repeat. Actions that lead you to a healthier and more balanced life, whatever that means for you, right? So what's something you can celebrate today? What small step have you taken in the last 7 days that you want to celebrate and repeat? Let me know. Find me on social media. I'm out there. email me, let me know. Now, celebrate that you listened to this episode. Celebrate that you took the time to learn how to reach your own health and life goals. I am ready to celebrate with you and help you take the kind of action that leads to results. Until next week, keep it simple, keep it real, and keep celebrating. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. That was so amazing.